Welcome back, everybody. I'm Frank. He's John. Hey, John, we got pick five to work on today.
Yes, we do. I was saying off camera, not the most glamorous sequence. There's no stakes races, but in spite of no stakes and no short fields, it's a fantastic sequence, very wide open. You can make a case for almost anybody in all five of these races. I was able to narrow it down to a $36 ticket, but it was not easy.
No, no, as you said, in a lot of these races, you make a case for just about anybody. We are talking, of course, of the late pick five on Saturday. Sequence starts in race five at Laurel Park, 12% takeout, low takeout on the late pick five. Pretty competitive sequence, as John said. It kicks off with a 40 claimer. Day's feature is the seventh. It's second level allowance. There's also a Maryland restricted allowance is race eight, and it concludes with the claiming 2-year-olds. So a lot of ways to go in a lot of these races. John, will dive in with your spotlight horses, and then we will move on and kind of cover the whole ticket briefly. But let's start with the spotlight horses, and they start right in race five. Race five, 40,000 claimer for 2-year-olds going a mile. And we're going to take a look here at the three horse, Our Day Will Come.
He is the only horse in this field who has beaten winners. He did so at Timonium back on Labor Day weekend. Granted, it was only a four-horse field, but he still got the job done, set a nice trip off the pace, and came from last to win going away by 2.5 lengths. He's been in pretty tough since then. He's had two tries in stakes company. He's tried to go a mile and a 16th. He's tried to go on grass. None of those quite in his wheelhouse. I think he's finally hit on the spot where he really wants to be. Coming back off a 7 days rest for Phil Capuano. I think it's a much more realistic spot in the Maryland Juvenile last Saturday, and he's already proven against winners, which moves him up quite a bit in my book.
Yeah, I mean that Timonium race was an ideal setup for him because it was just a four-horse field. You had two Charlestown horses coming out of 4.5 furlong races who cooked each other on the front end, and the only other horse, Mr. Supreme, who looked like he might be able to run into a pace, uh, couldn't outrun a fat man that day. So that was kind of an ideal setup, but as you say, only win against winners on the page here. Are you worried about wheeling back on the 7 days?
Not particularly. I mean, I feel like Phil and his connections just kind of took a shot, saw what happened. Not like he did much running last Saturday anyway. He was kind of near the pace and then backed up pretty bad. So I got to figure he's in pretty good shape for this spot. And even if he's not quite at 100% off of last week's effort, it should still be good enough to beat these.
All right, that is Our Day Will Come, race number five, first leg of our sequence here. Now we're going to shift ahead two races to the seventh. That is the featured second level allowance for 3-year-olds and up, going 6 furlongs on the main track. And we'll take a look at your spotlight horse here. That's going to be Cattivo Ragazzo, who was life and death to hang on last time out.
We're the dream team of trainer Gary Capuano and jockey Yedzid Hazelwood. And one thing I have noticed about Hazelwood, while he's obviously having a fantastic season, his one Achilles heel is he tends to make kind of premature moves when he's on or just off the pace, and he might have been guilty of that here with Gativo Ragazzo last time out. This one went off as the favorite, came from off the pace, made a four-wide bid at the top of the stretch, and opened up a clear advantage. As you said, though, he just barely held on. Big long shot Dewey's Beast came on for second, lost by a nose at 38-1, and Gativo Ragazzo held on. Still, this one won 2 starts back against Maryland, restricted first level company in, if anything, it was a much more impressive effort. He's rounded into career best form. He's run huge figures in each of his last 2 starts. It's not that strong of a field by second level standards. The only horse who's really close to him on the Visnet scale is on the mark, who hasn't raced in 5 months. I think as long as Gativo Ragazzo runs back to either of his last 2 starts, he'll win this one.
Yeah, I mean, On the Mark is a pretty nice horse and has won at a higher level than this. Interesting to see He's coming back in for the tag here off the long break. Not sure what that's signifying to us. Obviously, if he comes back to his best, he'd be tough in here as well, right?
Absolutely. But as you said, I'm not quite sure if Joanne Schenkel just wants to get a race into him and is willing to lose him for 40K, or if she wants him to go for 40K and she's more than happy to drop him in for the tag, or if there's another spot that she wanted to put him in that has ended up not filling. Either way, coming off such a long break, not ideal, but he has a shot if he can round back into his best.
Now, one thing for bettors to pay attention to, obviously, if Catillo Ragazzo runs well in this spot, Crab Daddy is in the next race here,
Mhm.
race 8, which is a Maryland restricted allowance. Crab Daddy was closing on the outside in Catillo Ragazzo's last race, while Dewey's Beast was coming up the inside. Crab Daddy ended up third, beaten 3/4 of a length, galloped out ahead of everybody by a mile. So he was flying at the end. I think 6 furlongs probably a little short for Crab Daddy. Heading back to a mile next time might be the trick. We'll see. I think he's done his best running at 7/8, but you're going to have him on your ticket. And let's talk through your ticket now. It's going to be a $36 ticket starting in race 5. Go ahead.
Going too deep in race number 5 with the aforementioned 3 Our Day Will Come. Also using number 7, Foul Mouth, who I thought had a tough trip last time out. He really had no shot the way that race turned out, but he got second, ran a career best Brisnet figure, and goes first off the Hugh McMahon claim. Joe Rocco has been having a sneaky good meet in the saddle. Race number 6, we're going 4 out of 8 in here, 3, 5, 7, and 8. And this is one of those spots where I think you could make a case for even more of them, but we have to draw the line somewhere. Gativo Rogasso is the single in race number 7, 3 deep in race number 8, as you're talking about, first level Maryland restricted allowance at 1 mile. I think the 5 Crab Daddy is really interesting. He just missed in the spectacular bid back in January against Arbadian runner who has since had a
The
fantastic
season, he
campaign.
said. Yeah.
Absolutely. This one has been rounding back at into his best self as of late. As you said, a hard charging third last time out at his best race in months. Could well put it all together going a mile. Going to use him along with the 2 In the Dance, who won at this level last time out at Delaware Park, albeit with a great pace setup, and the 6 Formal Affair, who's won 3 out of his last 4, takes a big drop in class and gets Hazelwood back aboard. Race 9, a 2-year-old filly claimer going 6 furlongs. There's 7 horses in the field, and we are using 4 of them. The 4 Last Gift, who's already won for 25,000, is the top pick. We'll also use present maiden winner Quagga, New York shipper Oscar Bound, and the Ness Hazelwood horse Yes Picnic.
Right, that's a $36 ticket for John Piazzik, 12% takeout on the Laurel 8 pick 5. Pick 5 starts in race 5 on Saturday. We need to address the color of your sweatshirt, teal, turquoise. What are we calling that?
It's Liberty Blue, I call it. New York Liberty. The only team from New York who seems to want to win as of late, considering how the Yankees and Mets are spending their off seasons, and how
Yes,
the other teams in New York are just kind of uh, flailing around.
yeah, flailing. Flailing would be an appropriate term, certainly for the hockey teams. But anyway, all right. So neither teal nor turquoise is the answer.
Yes,
All
my
right,
official
John.
terminology.
Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you, Frank.